On March 13th, 1997, thousands of witnesses reported seeing a strange array of mysterious lights in the night sky over Phoenix, Arizona. The National UFO Reporting Center got their first call around 8:16 p.m. Witnesses reported seeing a formation of lights moving from the northern part of Arizona southward towards Tucson. The lights were described as being a series of orbs or a solid craft with a row of lights. The National UFO Reporting Center has been getting a wave of calls regarding the strange lights over Arizona, moving from a southeastern direction. Allegedly, there were more than 700 credible witnesses, including pilots, police officers, and military officials. Most say that the craft was blocking out the stars and made no sound, which no plane could do at that time, or now for that matter. One witness from Prescott, who was known as JR, said he watched a boomerang-shaped object glide over Granite Mountain and said it was at least a mile wide. He said there's no way it was from this planet. We don't have anything that big, he said. It was totally silent. I've never seen anything even that close to the colors from the exhaust that propelled that thing. It was as big as downtown Prescott and completely blocked out the stars. I was about 30 feet under the craft as it flew over Tempe, Arizona. It evidently changed altitudes through Phoenix, as a number of witnesses said it just glided over their rooftops. The nearby streetlight was parallel as I was on a hill from construction work on I-6C driving home. The bottom of the craft was covered with oval-shaped indentations. The light source, from my point of view, looking sideways at it, being so close to the craft, was a thick fluid like lava. It flowed down, then stopped, and returned back into the opening of the craft. The light was a circular opening. The craft was solid. Frances Barwood, city councilwoman, during a council meeting, asked Frank Fairbanks, the city manager, if there would be an investigation about the craft that flew over Arizona. Quote, I asked if anybody knew what this object was, and could we check into it. I was met by a whole bunch of stares, end quote. After the meeting, a city manager went up to her and said, quote, you shouldn't have asked that question, end quote. The mayor's office put signs on my picture in the hallway. I found out afterwards they handed out business cards with my name on it. It said, speak into the tinfoil, I will hear you. Even after being ridiculed, she was still receiving a ton of phone calls from other witnesses describing the same thing. Kurt Russell, a licensed pilot and a famous actor who starred in the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, funny enough, is one of the many credible witnesses who have reported the lights to the control tower at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. During an interview with the British Broadcasting Company, he talks about his experience and what he had witnessed that night that thousands of other people had also saw that night. This is that interview.
This took place in Arizona. An unidentified pilot, according to the press cuttings, flying near an airport in Arizona with his son when he spotted 6 lights in the night sky. So he called from the airplane to air traffic control to say, I'm seeing these lights here. I wasn't expecting any other planes. They're none supposed to be on my landing path. Can you tell me what's going on? They said there are no other planes. He said, I'm seeing 6 bright lights coming towards me. Mystery unresolved.
Except
Oh?
tail number for that plane was Bonanza 2 Tango Sierra, and I was the pilot. No way. Oliver and I.
Yes, take us back. Doesn't say that in the briefing.
Oliver and I.
I should have read to the end.
Yeah. Oliver and I were flying in. I was flying him to go see his girlfriend, and we were on approach, and I saw 6 lights over the airport in absolute uniform in a V shape, and Oliver said to me, I was just looking at him, and I was coming in. We're maybe a half a mile out, and Oliver said, "Pa, what are those lights?" And I then it kind of like came out of my reverie, and I said, "I don't know what they are." I said, he said, "Are we okay here?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna call him," and I reported it. And they said, "We're not painting anything. We don't show anything." I said, "Well, okay, I'm going to declare it's unidentified, it's flying, and it's 6 objects." We landed. I taxied dropped him off, took off, went back to LA. Never said a word. He never said a word. I never thought of it. 2 years later, Goldie is watching a television show when I came home.
Yeah.
And the show is on UFOs. But as I came home, hey honey, how's it going? Boom, and I'm kind of hearing this the TV going, and I stopped and I started watching, and it was on that event. Now that was the most viewed UFO event. Over 20,000 people saw that. And I'm watching this, and I'm feeling like Richard Dreyfuss in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's like, why do I know this? You know what? And it's not clear to me. And finally, I said. Then they said the pilot reported it. A general aviation pilot reported it on landing. I'd never thought of it since then. That was me. That was me. And I said, wait a minute. I'll go to my logbooks. So I went to my logbooks, and there was the flight at that time, and I didn't mention anything about the UFO. The fascinating part of that to me is that it just went literally out of my head.
Dr. Lynn Kitty is an internationally acclaimed physician and health educator, and is another credible person to witness this massive craft over Arizona. What Lynn was seeing had barely been perceived when Lynn Kitty raced inside to get her camera. She saw a formation of lights, 6 of them, evenly spaced in a direct line. This was something similar she had seen a couple years ago in 1995. So this was nothing new to her. By the time she was back on her patio, only 3 lights were shining. She pressed record, and those several seconds of tape would become one of the best recordings of the Phoenix Lights to be shown to the media, and later her own documentary. Arizona Republican Governor Fife Symington III now says that he himself witnessed one of the strangest unidentified flying objects ever reported, even though at first he originally did not say so publicly. He first mocked and made a joke of it, and brought in a fake alien into a press conference. This is that video.
And now I'll ask Officer Stein and his colleagues to escort the accused into the room so that we may all look upon the guilty party. Don't get him too close to me, please.
This is where it gets interesting. While he made fun of the event, he himself said he saw the craft. It was enormous and inexplicable. He said from an exclusive interview from his home in Phoenix. Who knows where it came from? A lot of people saw it, and I saw it too. Symington says he saw a large triangular craft of unknown origin, with lights moving slowly. And it couldn't have been flares because it was too symmetrical, consistent shape. The Air Force Base experienced a complete lockdown. According to someone from the inside, chaos has occurred, and the facility was eventually closed. As stated, it's noteworthy to share that this encounter occurred roughly around 8:30 p.m., an hour and a half prior to the military's claim of dropping flares. Despite these events, the Air Force has denied this encounter has occurred. This is not the first time the Air Force has denied these types of encounters. They've done it back in the day with Project Blue Book, and are still doing it now with the somewhat new office AARO, or AARO. They have also tried blocking the new UAP Disclosure Act amendment made by Chuck Schumer that was supposed to be this year. You would have had all the answers, but they keep denying, and denying. America is the only place where everyone wants a spaceship to fly over a big city, but when it happens, people try to deny it and say it was flares. What a country we live in. Hello everyone, thank you for watching my video, and if you stuck till the end, then you're a real one. This is my first video, and I don't know if how well it's gonna do or whatever. So this is actually one of my favorite sightings, since this is probably the most viewed UFO sighting of all time, which is pretty insane. There's gonna be more videos to come. I might do one on the 1952 Washington DC case, possibly Roswell, and some other unknown cases that people just don't really know about. And if you're just into that type of stuff, like UFOs, aliens, and interdimensional beings, and whatever, and the government secrets, then this channel is for you. So don't forget to subscribe, and good morning, good night, and goodbye.